Welcome back. Before we break down today's chart, this is strictly for educational purposes and is based on my personal professional experience. It is not financial advice or a live trade signal. Remember, the past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and all views are my own. Let's look at the data. Yeah, from the very beginning, I think that today is not a very high activity day right off the bat. But at the end of the day, we can see that it doesn't need to get to the best, clearest reversal levels that it usually would use, because it's not, again, anywhere close to where anyone respectable has ever taken a trade. This is all-time high. So what do we do with these people? Giant head and shoulders like this. Definitely conditioning them. And I mean, what we do can take a long time, can be really slow, doesn't have to do anything. We're not in any kind of sense of urgency. The market's at all-time high. Basically, very close to it. It's on the chart. As far as the institutions are concerned, it's in a place of safety, not the beginning of an opportunity, but the end. And now it's going to be about dealing with the people at the open, because they think the institutions could come and see, come in today and say, what do they want? What do they want? Literally, I wonder myself. What do they see up here? Who's even trying? You know what I mean? I wonder, because it's not about a setup anymore, because that ship must have sailed. It couldn't be about that anymore. It couldn't be about their best favorite trade anymore, could it? What could it be about? Just squeezing a buck out of any kind of environment that they're placed in? Maybe. Perhaps. But what's their angle? They come in every day trying to implement their same strategy, so what is today any different from another day? It's no different to them. Shouldn't be. And then we're surprised when we constantly just chop and overlap the people of this domain, when no big long-term moves come out of them. When everything that we do that is significant seems to be overlapped greatly, and any progress that's ever made is hidden by a needle in a haystack kind of vibe, where when I see that there is an actual reversal, I can see that it comes with the most difficulty, with the most time put into it and all this stuff. They're trying to make it as tricky as possible for people to get lucky on it. And again, this is one of those environments where I can see they're in no rush. That they're comfortable with everyone trading here. They're actually really comfortable with everyone trading here. And to me, that's disturbing. To me, I can see that there's not really any, effort in trying to make patterns work for them. They're just trying to make them trade. So good luck with that. That's what I think in here. And it'll expire with the average person's time that they usually spend trading. It'll expire about maybe half an hour into the day. We'll do a little bit of a slow pocket that'll take about 15 minutes. They'll be gone, and the institutions will think about their first trade. Today is one of those days, for sure. So we're at a 61, and we'll see. I get the vibe. The first thing that popped in my head, what are we going to do to them? So, that's the first thing that popped into my head. See what we're going to do. I'm curious myself. The aggressiveness, it should be at a pretty low point. So, at the end of the day, this is a triangle. And the triangles, even if we weren't at the open in a shitty environment, the triangles would have to be endured on a regular basis and on a regular day. It doesn't matter. And we'd have to make it through it. We know that the triangle has a tip, which is its end, which should make it easy for, if you struggle with patience. Again, tell me that movement wasn't just to get people involved and to hurt them. Look at how it was oh, we're going finally. And it's just for the people at the open that think they're trading against Tom across the street. They have no idea that the institutions create this domain for them. No idea. They just jump right in head first with a blindfold on into a pit of fire. With a smile on their face, too. They'll be gone not even 15 minutes, and we'll move on with a nice, clear institutional trade, which could be really easy. A lot of people like to burn up their tries in an environment that's difficult for everyone. And that's what this is. We're just letting them shoot their shot, So it's the first response that we've had to a 261. It slipped through it a little bit. to get down to a 141. We've left the triangle just to return back to it. The 188-200 is merely just typically a barrier on the journey back to the 100. There is an untested B point above. I just don't think the sense of urgency is incredibly high. A lot of people like to try their hand on an environment that stimulates them because of their lack of understanding. So when they get involved with something they don't understand, it becomes a gamble. And, you know, they might get excited about the gamble because the allure, they don't understand what's going to happen to them, so they get excited about it. And when you get excited about something like that and it doesn't go your way, I find it's 10 times easier to be emotional about it because you don't know where to rectify your problem because you didn't know what you were doing in the first place. The institutions are drawing back over part of their plan. We can see right now all the fibs that have been placed from the open have all costed people money that want to be in on the institutional plan. Holders are able to watch from a far and safe distance ago and continue to observe the people as they try to acquire the position they've been holding for great distance. You know, having started the day already down, it's likely that the institutions have acquired their hedge in the overnight session, not allowing the people to have access to the liquidity that they use to get their positions. Everybody opens slightly underneath the position that's been acquired in the overnight session. And it's like, well, think about it. If you did make the best price in the overnight session, and you did make it at 12 o'clock at night, at a point where people couldn't trade, and then by the open, it's already playing out down to the downside, already enough liquidity to trim off enough profit. We're back at where we were in the triangle. Sure, we left out of it for a little bit. Oh, whoop-de-doo. This is not an incredible movement or pattern. If you made money on it, great job, but you basically dodged a bullet. Where the POC is where we are too. We just came up and attacked it. The B point's still a little bit of a ways away. We can still see that the trend is unbroken. We've bought everything back up to the trend itself, but nothing more than that. Will it make a giant inverse head and shoulders? Will it work? When I woke up this morning, I had the impression that the institutions didn't even come in today. I don't know why. That the people that are managing it are like Team B. And they're trying the best, but they're just not the people that typically move the market. I'm curious about the one move that will leave this area and whether or not it will be a significant one or whether or not it will come right back to where we are. I am curious about that. Because I have this impression for some reason that the movements that we're going to have to leave this area aren't going to hold. And that they're just going to end up sending us right back to where we are right now. No matter what we do here, it's going to be like, oh my god, it's finally doing something. To everyone, they're going to get involved, and then somehow we're going to end up right here. And I'm like, okay. So maybe we make equal spikes out of both sides of the node or something, just to come back. But something tells me that we'll be here in 4 hours, too. That everything we do for the next 400, maybe even 500 points, could be literally bullshit and a short-term move. So I'm curious about that. Any highs that we make are inflated and well beyond where they should be on the daily. Hard to say that there's actually any more value derived out of an American business this week versus the last. From what I can see, America could be in a better place and the stock market's at all-time high. I don't read the value that way. Market's definitely not on all-time high because of the rest of the world. It's because of Americans buying it themselves. Today, they make that price seem like a good price when nobody would be caught buying up there on Friday. I'm like, is that a good price to begin? Now, all of a sudden, they've got everyone convinced that it's okay to trade here. Isn't that funny? Isn't that weird how they've done that? Like, how the fuck does anyone ever go long up here? Are you crazy? You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of a weird one, isn't it? But it's funny because anybody that's been shorting has been losing so hard. So you can see how it's working against them to have that basic idea of because it's high, it should come down. And you know how people develop that because it's high, it should come down idea? Is when it goes like this all day. Because it's high, it should come down, right? Works right there, doesn't it? Every time it's high, it comes back down, doesn't it? Every time it's low, it comes back up, doesn't it? Every time it makes a move and breaks a trend, it crosses through the middle, doesn't it? And it's more interested in coming back to one price than leaving and moving away from any specific price, isn't it? Isn't that a consolidation when it does that? I'm like, in a basic idea, yeah. So today, I'm like, I don't really care that it looks like that. Let me just draw my explanation in again. It was pretty much like that, right? All right. This is essentially the same impact. Are we interested in moving away or coming back to a level? Now, just because we spent the majority of our time in one area of this giant blob, like when I go like this, I can circle the whole thing. When I go like this, I can say every move begins and ends at that middle point. One move takes us away. Now, could I take this and move it up here and say the same thing? Why? So what's so different? The fact that it didn't go back and forth all the time in the range? Like, was it not stuck to this line the whole time? Was it not even around it? Was it not in the circle? I'm like, yeah. That's I can't argue with that. Like, it's not my opinion. It is a fact that it is. It is a fact that a consolidation is confined within barriers. A trend isn't. When we're consolidating, we're often returning back to a point more than we're leaving one. With a trend, we start at a point and we leave it. Leave it, right? Start at a point and leave it. When we're in a consolidation, we stay at the same point. Now, we can have trends within consolidations, like trend up to the high of the consolidation, trend from the high to the bottom of the consolidation, trend from the bottom to the top of the consolidation, trend just to the middle of the consolidation, trend just from the middle of the consolidation. But what else could you have? Could you have something else? What else am I missing here? What else could you fucking have that I'm missing? Because from what I can see, that's everything that you could have. So if we don't consider those variables as facts and actually compile them and understand them before we begin, we won't know as much as we could because we haven't applied the tools to gain the understanding. And if we apply the tools to determine whether or not we're in a trend or a consolidation, this is an over-the-top advanced explanation of, do you check if it's in a trend or in a consolidation before you start? Everything I've just said is like the advanced comprehension of whether or not you're considering it's in a consolidation or a trend, you know? Here we are basically trying to push through the point that we've struggled with all day. The long trades have prevailed, but it doesn't make it easy. At the end of the day, I find it very likely, right? Very, very likely that everything we do on top of this high comes back down to it. And it could be from an equal distance, could be from a shitty trend break at some point.